Hey guys, thanks for going on this nerd journey with me. If you want your episodes ad-free, go to makemeanerd.com/join and hit that button.
Hooked on you, baby, you're golden. Time moves, I never noticed. Just can't get enough. Got me wonderstruck.
Hello everybody and welcome to Make Me a Nerd. I'm Mandy Kaplan. A mainstream mom whose mission it is to explore the world. I won't keep doing it, but I want to do the whole episode in that voice. I'm a mainstream mom whose mission it is to explore the world of nerd culture that I've been missing out on and afraid of my whole life. And I have a real primo movie nerd on the podcast with me today, and it gets me very excited. Let me tell you all a little bit about Seth Vargas. He is one half of the Movie Friends podcast. He is a writer and film lover with a passion for making movies and their history accessible to everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, paisanos, it's Seth Vargas. Yay!
Hello. Hey, thank you for having me back.
So, to remind my audience, you and your partner, Michelle, came on and really nerdicated me about Ed Wood and Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Yes, absolutely. Yep, we were here what feels like yesterday, you know?
Right?
And unfortunately, Michelle is not here with me today. So if any of you listened to that episode and thought, gee, what a fun team, you will now see how unfun one of us is.
Is it like a mafia situation? Is she in the car with a bullet through her brain?
Yeah,
Oh,
no, never. But I'm also happy to be back to be here to discuss one of the great American films.
Well, I get to determine that, really. That's the whole
Sure,
point of
of
Making Me a
course.
Nerd. I get to decide.
That's right. You are the
What?
arbiter of taste.
Yes. Well,
Mhm.
look, Rotten Tomatoes says it all. 97 and 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. And I'm wondering who the hell are the 3% that didn't rate
Right.
it high? Yeah. How am I? You don't know me that well. I'm an adult woman who
Mhm,
lives in the world. I've never been in prison, so it's not like
mhm.
I lost years of my viewing life. And I've
Right.
never seen The Godfather.
Listen, you can't see them all, okay?
But this
That's
one,
but who decides the ones, right? You might be able to go out on a limb and say that there are 100 the ones, right?
mhm, Miss Congeniality,
Miss Congeniality, of
obviously.
course. Miss Congeniality 2, questionable. But for every Godfather, there are films from other countries that most people haven't seen, or there's films from before the 1970s that people haven't seen. So I just am happy that you are on a journey of discovery, no matter what it is, and that you are, pushing yourself because so many people are very content with where they are, and that they wouldn't bother to
Right.
think that they have some type of lack in their life. And I might be putting words in your mouth with that one, but my point is, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad.
It's not that I feel bad. For me, it was violence. I really
Of
do
course. And I
struggle
thought of you.
watching violence. But
Yes,
the
I
older
thought
I
of you the
get,
whole time I was rewatching because I knew that.
right. And the older I get, I think the more I'm able to see some of it as art and contextualize it and be okay with it if it's not gratuitous and, just like masturbatory. Let's see how much ass kicking
Mm,
we can get into a film. This,
right.
all of this violence is artistic and I could appreciate it. But I think that's what I've been avoiding. And I think I might have told you this when you were on or uh, maybe just subliminally across coast to coast in the weeks ensuing. But violence that is very realistic and unpredictable, the fact that the Corleones are like sitting over dinner or having a drink and then everything blows up, that scares me so deeply, much more so than,
Yes.
the cartoon like Tarantino violence, which feels like not as realistic.
I don't know if you want to start there, but how did the violence that loomed large in your mind live up to the looming, or were you like, yeah, this is actually okay?
Oh, I handled it, but there
Yeah.
were a few times I went, "Oh God, oh!" Like it's visceral. But what?
Yes, absolutely.
Enough about me, Seth. What is your history with Godfather? You are you're a young man. It's not like you saw it in the theaters when it came out, but when do you remember seeing it for the first time, or did you read the
I,
book?
yeah, I mean, absolutely, I do. I think I probably saw this maybe 2020, 2019, something like that. I've been a film fan my entire life. I've gone through multiple periods where I would watch up to 4 films a day
Wow.
over the course of my life. Yeah, as you know, different jobs and family living situations allow, right? But unlike you, who you describe yourself as a mainstream mom, I was very much not a mainstream person, and so I gravitated towards the Ed Wood films rather than the Godfathers. I kind of
Mhm.
purposefully avoided those things because my very wrong way of thinking was, well, if that many people like it, it can't possibly be that good, and that's beyond foolish. And all that
No, but
that led
it's
to
it is a
was
very
like,
I'm sorry to interrupt. It's a
no, go ahead.
very nerd culture mentality. I know,
Sure.
and I'm just stating I have indisputable facts because my sister will often say, "Ugh, that movie, everybody loved that movie. I'm not gonna see that movie."
Right.
Like, it's like you
Right.
want to have something that's yours and not just do what everyone else does.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there's such a difference in discovery versus buying in.
Mm,
So there are movies that are presented to you. You walk down the street and you see a billboard or you see an ad online. These movies are presented to you. But when you find something, you click on something that just looks insane on Tubi, or you're looking through a director's filmography that you like, and you're like, I've never heard of this movie, and then you watch it, and you find the goodness for yourself. There is nothing like that. Like, um, because at that point you're only following and rewarding your curiosity, where buying in is taking a risk. So
mhm,
if Hollywood is, big, yeah, capital H Hollywood is saying to you, this is the movie of the summer, you say, okay, we'll see, right?
mhm. You
So
you resist.
you resist a little bit, and when you spend so much time finding the hidden stuff and you find that rewarding, you are kind of wary to go out on the popular limb. But friends, don't be like me. Don't spend your life in a godfatherless world. So yeah, I watched this, I would say probably about 6 years, 5 years ago, and was completely enraptured by it, and was like immediately like, oh yeah, the classics are a classic for a reason. Now, I will say there are some movies that I don't think stand the test of time, and I don't think are as good as they're made out to be. But The Godfather is fortunately not one of those. I do think it lives up to its legacy. But do you think that? I mean,
Mm, well,
we're
yeah. I
here
mean,
for you. I mean,
right, spoiler alert, I freaking loved it. I'm not gonna be coy and wait till
yeah,
the end of the podcast. Yes,
yeah,
I am a human being with a mind and a heart, and therefore I
yeah,
was entranced and moved. I have my thoughts, as I often do, about,
sure,
"Oh, I would have done that differently," but, you know, uh,
yeah.
but it opens with the scene from Zootopia,
Yes. Uh-huh. Yep. I'm
and
so
that
glad.
it is precisely the scene from Zootopia. And
Yeah.
that shows you how far reaching and influential this film is.
Yeah.
That it's even
Absolutely.
in a Disney movie from 10 years ago or 50 or God,
Yes.
10 years ago. Yeah, about.
Yeah. I don't wanna think about that, but yeah, I think you're probably about
Yeah,
right.
it's actually like 12 years ago. But that I mean, there's not a person around who doesn't know some quotes from The Godfather or who can't
Mhm.
if you make any reference, they're like, "Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about." It is so influential in film and
Absolutely.
and in culture.
Absolutely. Yep. It's one of those films that was not only celebrated critically, but was a massive, massive financial success. So until Jaws, this held the record for the most successful movie of all time when it came out.
Oh.
It was the highest grossing film that had ever been made up until that point. And we're in the early 1970s. And so I can't remember. Did we talk about the Hays Code last time?
Yes. Yes, we did.
Okay, cool. All right. So this is a part two. You didn't realize that Ed Wood listeners would prime you for the success of The Godfather. But by 1972, we are well past the production code, or what's called the Hays Code, which dictated what could be shown on film, set on film, so that it could be released to every market in America. Because films used to be released in different markets based on their content. And so the Hays Code or production code, if it had the stamp of approval, that meant that it could be shown anywhere and everywhere. So it
Mhm.
behooved filmmakers and studios to comply with this code.
Was that before the rating
Also,
system? Did I ask that
yes,
last time?
yes,
Okay.
yep. So the Hays Code was basically because movies were getting protested and shut out of different theaters. Movies used to be incredibly salacious and sexy and violent and very interesting. If you watch movies between 1925 and 1932, you'll be shocked at what was in movies because we think,
Mhm.
oh, that was old timey. They didn't have sex back then,
Mhm.
and they did. But when movies started to draw the ire of moralistic people, they decided to impose their own rules rather than have the government come in and say,
Right.
you can't show a movie, you can't, because they wanted to make money. And so they said, okay, we'll be good boys and girls. We'll make good movies, and the bad guys will never win. We'll never show interracial relationships. We'll never show clergy or law officers to be shown in like a really bad light,
Sure.
things like that.
Yeah.
So 1970s hit, and
Look
they
out.
replaced the Hays Code with the rating system. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, actually, we're going to make movies however we want and let the people decide.
Right.
We'll rate the movie, and then you can decide what you want to come and see. And so the 1970s for American cinema explodes, like just completely explodes. And with The Godfather being, up until that point, the movie that more people had seen than anyone else in America, it now became the movie to emulate and to reach for, both critically or artistically. You want to make something as good as The Godfather, and commercially. Now we're showing, hey, look, guys, we don't need to just make like Hello Dolly and Singing in the Rain. People will come and see this.
Mhm.
So let's shoot for this. And so,
And
yes,
and they've been waiting
influential
for it.
is
I
the
mean, the
word.
'70s felt like an explosion of counterculture movies and
Mhm.
pushing the limits, and I did The Exorcist on the show, and that's one of my favorite movies, and, though that was stuff we hadn't seen, and the '70s were willing to go there, and
Yes.
I guess maybe allowed to go there, and
Allowed to, yes.
that's why
Yeah.
so many of these movies that influenced film for the next 50 years came
Mhm.
out of a time when it was like, "We're free." Rosemary's
Yes.
Baby, like all of this stuff. Yeah.
Yes, because you're seeing things. It would be more revelatory than seeing color for the first time, because you're
Mhm.
not seeing just something technical. You're seeing the truth of human expression in art, where it had been stunted and it had been, shined up. So
Mhm.
of course there are great films throughout the 30s and 40s and 50s, and the 60s really start to get much looser.
Yeah.
But of course there were great films, but it wasn't fully what someone wanted to say and do. And so that's why, yeah, 1970s for American cinema, it's one of the best. It's probably the best movement in American film history. But
I will not
um,
argue.
Yeah, and then it goes on, yeah, like you
Yeah,
said, The Godfather, the people who grow up to make Zootopia remember the
right,
greatest movie of all time, and that's
right.
why this has that, you know, um, that kinda name or reputation. I do not think that that's remotely true. Like, this is a fantastic film. It's not the greatest movie of all time, but for
Whoa.
for a generation, it was.
And if you want to disagree with Seth, please reach him at the Movie Friends podcast because
That's
that's
right.
not, I'm not willing to back you up on that. Well,
Wow.
one thing that came up, I recorded yesterday about Dr. Horrible's sing along blog,
Sure, mhm.
and Henchman factored into that, and that they factored heavily into The Godfather. And
Yep,
I'm fascinated by Henchman. And so I think it's funny, 2 episodes in a row, people who devote their lives to like, I'll just stand quietly in the corner looking menacing and I'll
yep,
do whatever you tell me, even if it puts my life at risk. Like
yep.
what kind of job is that? It sucks.
I I agree with you. I agree, and that's where the culture, uh, it goes far beyond just a job, right? And that's why throughout the film, we're not dealing with the mafia and the mob. I don't know if you know anything about the backstory of that part of it.
Not really. I mean,
So, Mario Puzo,
yeah,
author,
yeah,
starts writing this book
yeah.
called The Godfather. Okay. Paramount buys the rights to the book before it's even finished.
Hmm.
Book comes out, smash success, huge success. So much so that the film studio said, we're not going to make the movie because it can't possibly live up to the book in people's mind. Can you imagine
Wow.
a film
I
studio?
wish more people would say that. I
Right.
wish less
Ex-
adaptations were happening.
exercising restraint instead of being like, pump it out, quick, pump it out. And so obviously, the book is dealing with the mafia and the mob and Italian Americans. And in 2026, I think it's hard for us to connect with how Italian Americans were viewed in the 50s, 60s, and even early 70s.
Well, I
So,
might I interject, spoiler alert. I
absolutely.
I did watch the second one.
Oh,
I
very
did.
good.
I couldn't
Okay.
stop myself. And he, Michael's meeting with some guy and he's like, "Let me cut to the chase here. I'm disgusted by you Italians when your
Yes.
silk suits come into our country trying to pretend you're honest citizens." So he laid it all out. All those
Yes.
preconceived notions or negative stereotypes, like it's all
Hmm.
in there.
And so in real life, I can't remember the name of the guy, but this guy who's connected to the mafia in real life forms the Anti-Italian Defamation League,
Okay.
raises $500,000 at a rally at Madison Square Garden to stop the production of The Godfather
Wow.
because it will reinforce negative stereotypes about Italian Americans. Now, secretly, they were like, we don't want Hollywood to go telling a realistic story about, actual mob families. And so,
Lifting the veil, right? I mean, it's
right,
right.
right. It's all under the guise of, oh, this is racist. It's caricatures. Meanwhile, it's like, we're actually doing this stuff.
Right. And
So,
all publicity is good publicity, so I'm sure the
all
filmmakers were like, "Go ahead,
well, so
protest."
they meet with them and they come to the agreement. We will not call it the mafia or the mob. It
Okay,
will always be called the family.
the
And they
family.
make that one concession, and then they're like, yeah, okay, you can make your
Okay.
movie.
Uh-huh.
Then different members are actually in the film. And
Oh.
so Luca, the dude who gets a knife through the hand, he
Mm.
was an arsonist and enforcer for one of the crime families.
Whoa.
Yes.
Fun fact. That's so
Yeah,
cool.
Carlo was also working with multiple crime families, and he even has a podcast talking about his experiences in the mafia.
But he has
And
a
so the
huge
movie
role.
yeah, so the movie does this odd parallel thing where the first storyline that departs us from the Corleone's family house is Hollywood. Johnny Fontaine, who's kind of
Mhm,
a stand-in for Frank Sinatra, who
mhm.
is always rumored to be, tied in
Yeah,
with the mafia.
I got that.
And and so the movie is kind of commenting on Sinatra and how the mafia influences Hollywood, while also working hand in hand with the mafia to make this movie about that. It's a very interesting,
Meta.
self-eating
Yeah.
snake.
Wow.
And
Seth.
Coppola specifically was like, well, he didn't want to make this movie, first of all. He had no interest in making a big commercial movie like this. Coppola he's a famous film director, but he has always been more on the artistic side.
Mhm.
Most people haven't seen a lot of his movies because they're heady and strange. I mean, his last film, Megalopolis, is the definition of a head scratcher. I don't know if you saw that one.
No.
It's so interesting.
I saw
Very, very.
Peggy Sue Got Married
There you go.
and The
There you go.
Outsiders,
Nick Cage.
but
Oh, The
most of
Outsiders
these
is
I
one of
haven't
my
seen. Yeah.
favorites. Oh,
Yeah.
so good. But he agrees to do it. George Lucas convinces him to do it because they were, I think it was $400,000 in debt to WB for George Lucas's first film, THX 1138. They make it, doesn't make money back, and so their little, production, he was like, look, just direct The Godfather and make some money, and then we can go
Mhm.
back to making our little art movies, which, George Lucas would depart and make his little art movie, Star
What?
Wars.
What? I don't know what you mean.
So Coppola decides, okay, fine, yes, I will do this, but we are going to make this movie about Italians, by Italians, for Italians. And I think that that's part of the cultural impact, is not just doing like, see, gangsters, but
Right.
making them humans that we live with for 3 hours.
Right.
And yes, they're all horrible and horrifying and do terrible things, but they're shown to be complicated human beings.
Well, I I think a lot of that has to do with how the movie opens with a wedding, which is such a
Mhm.
relatable celebratory event, and I wanna
Yes.
dive into the movie right after this. So this is the longest wedding on screen. It is
Yeah.
27 minutes of wedding footage.
Yep.
You know what? Look, I liked it. I'm glad we got to know the family, and you see how much they appreciate their children and
Mhm.
how close they are. But I could have used 10 minutes less of dancing and, you know, world building. It was
Yeah.
a long ass wedding sequence.
It's very long. It's very long. And the entire, you'll see this as you rewatch this, which I think Mandy said off mic, this will be a annual watch for you, I believe. June
What
1st of every year, you're gonna go back and rewatch Godfather.
did I say that? Wait, what is in this can of sparkling water? I don't remember saying that.
But
I
the
would
whole
definitely
movie,
rewatch it. Yeah.
yeah, the whole movie is contained in the wedding. Like
Mhm.
the opening, I don't want to say it gives it all away, but it's not just setup. It's actually like everything is here. The movie starts with, I mean, the great monologue that really sets up what the movie is about. I believe in America,
Mhm.
and you have this undertaker who says, I essentially, what it boils down to is, why do bad things happen to good people?
Mhm.
And that is a universal theme that everyone wrestles with probably every day, right? Why do the evil prosper and the good suffer? I did what I was supposed to do. Me, as an Italian who came to this country, I forsook everything. I forsook you, Godfather.
Mhm.
And I tried to do what I wanted. I tried to do what I was meant to do. And when Ron came to me and I sought justice, justice was denied me. And so, if we think of Don Vito as the devil, which he pretty much is,
Oh, I would
it,
disagree, but yeah.
well, but that's the movie. Is he?
Yeah.
Here's this nice family man, and yet he's completely fine with flooding, the black neighborhoods with drugs because
Right.
they are not people
Right.
as we are. And so this Undertaker, and that's not me saying that, obviously. That's the
No. Yeah.
Italian murderers
Hmm.
family saying this. So you have the Undertaker who comes to his senses and realizes that he has to bow down to the devil in order to get what he wants.
Right.
And that's the end of the movie. Michael becomes the devil. Michael
Right.
becomes the Godfather. He becomes the one who's, holding the strings. Also in the wedding, you have Michael doing the opposite of what he's meant to be doing. He shows up with Kay and he's explaining everything to her. Oh, that's
And
Luca Brasi. He does this. Oh, that's
right.
this guy. He's spilling all the beans.
Well,
And then
first
when
of
you
all,
come
I was
back
like, is
around,
he just naming pasta dishes? I mean,
yeah,
there were so many names in this movie. It's hard to keep track of.
it
But
is. It
when
is
Michael
very
tells
hard.
Hey, yep, that's my father. Like this is what you're getting into.
Hmm.
I was like, get the F out of there, Annie Hall. Like, what are you
Yes.
doing
Yes.
entering? And she not only does she say, okay, I'll keep dating you. But then when
Yes.
he does leave her and comes back to her, she knows everything. He never keeps her in the dark.
Yes.
And she willingly enters into it. I mean,
Yes.
I've backed out of relationships for way less than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's up
Well,
with that, Kay?
I mean, I don't know if that you were ever in a relationship with a 1972 era Al Pacino. I mean, talk about a
I
smoke
came
show.
close a couple times.
You dated Al Pacino in 1996?
Well, no, and now I'd be too old for him. Isn't he dating like a 30-year-old? His the wife is like
Ah,
a child. It's gross.
ah,
But
yes.
I find those dynamics really interesting. Although,
Mhm.
unfortunately, I find the female characters horribly underwritten, and
Yeah,
Kay is just like a
absolutely.
sack of potatoes. She just is like,
Absolutely.
Michael, and
Mhm.
drives me insane.
We literally don't get the reaction of almost any, except for Connie, um,
Oh,
any of the
she's
events,
tough to
the
take.
women are kind of held back from seeing their reaction. I mean, their mother, Carmela, we don't see her reaction to Sonny's death. We don't see her reaction to Vito's death.
Hmm.
So yes, they're definitely very much sequestered and put to the side. But
But
yeah,
interestingly, I know I'm bouncing all around, but while we're
feel
here,
free.
the
Yeah,
movie, what's the last shot of the movie?
I know it's Kay.
It's Diane
Yeah,
Keaton
yeah,
watching her husband become the Don and
yes.
afraid of what's happening in the future. So I wrote, "Oh, is the second one going to be more about the women?" And the answer is no, no, not at all. The second one, she just whines and cries and leaves
Oh
him.
no. I
Yeah,
love Kay in the second one. I love Kay in the second one. And I'm in a minority. I'm in a minority there. She's
yeah.
the only one who's able to get anything out of Michael, including in this movie. Al Pacino, who we all know is a bit of a, I think Al Pacino likes the stage because he can fill it up. he's I don't want to say he's an over actor because
But he's
I mean
understated in the first one.
he is so reserved, calm and
Yes,
quiet. There's
I
a
know.
there's a
I love it.
fantastic example in the cinematography of this movie when Sonny is just losing it. This is after the assassination attempt on Vito. They're in Vito's office and Sonny is roaming all around the room, raving, yelling at Tom, and the camera's following him. And then the camera stops as Michael talks, doesn't move, but it slowly pushes in on him. And you
Hmm.
see the difference in control. The
Hmm.
person who has to fight for control versus the person who just has it. And throughout everything, even, pressed for time, assassins are coming to kill my dad. He's talking to this nurse and he's like, listen, you're going to help me. He talks to the guy to go outside. Listen, this is what you're going to do. Okay, you're okay. There's no excitement. He's so calm and reserved throughout the whole film until Kay asks the one thing that he cannot do, which is tell the truth. Face up to me, right? Because when he goes with Kay to the wedding, he is above everything. He's talking down.
He,
That's my father's
he
business. That's
he
this,
has
that's that, that's this
left the
person.
family. He is not. He is like,
Mhm.
that's not me. I
Yes.
have
Right.
I've gotten out, I've
Yes.
escaped, I've made better choices,
Yes.
and I found it to be like a flip when he is
Yes.
like, "I'll put bullets in the 2 guys' heads."
Yeah.
Um, I was wondering if in the book we get into his mindset, if we know more why Michael flips. Do you
Right.
have a
Right.
better
Right.
sense of that? Or
So I always thought that the flip in the film was not rushed, but I was just like, wow, why does this
yeah,
happen? And then probably the second or third time I watched it, I realized it's not a choice of desire, it's a choice of security. So Michael is completely uninvolved.
right.
Like we said, he's above it, he's separate.
He's been
He
off
is meant.
fighting. I mean, he's like
Yeah.
a war
Yeah.
hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we also learn through the second and third film that like from the beginning, Vito's plan was for Michael to be separate and to not be part of this because he has the two sons who are already messed up. And then
Mm,
here comes the third child,
mhm,
not the third son who, this is the good one. And this is
mhm.
the one that we're going to
Right.
invest in. And so Kay and Michael are seeing a film. They see the newspaper. Obviously, you're going to rush home. Okay. Sonny says, look, you got to stay here for protection. Michael's like, no, I'm fine. Da, da, da. Michael just goes to the hospital just to visit his dad. He has no intention whatsoever of, getting embroiled in a murder plot and being punched by a cop. None of that. But when he gets there and realizes, like, oh my God, like we are still in it. And if it weren't for Michael going there, Don Vito would have died. He would have
Mhm.
been killed that night.
Right.
And
Right.
Michael realizes there's a
Right.
great moment where Michael, you see the flip there. Michael gets close to Don Vito and he says, I'm with you, Pop. I'm with you. I'm here.
Mhm.
I'm going to
Mhm.
protect you. And Don Vito smiles. And so everything kind of
I just got
becomes,
chills. Yeah.
yeah, Michael switches to not because he's like, I want to be a bad guy. No, it's
Right.
out of preservation for his family and for himself. And he
Yeah.
realizes like these guys are idiots. Fredo can't take care of this. Sonny can't take care of this. No one can take care of this but me. And I have 7 siblings.
You do?
And oh yeah. So there's a
Wow.
lot of, yeah, lots of family dynamics involved, I guess I'll say. And I can tell you that there are many situations that I find myself, quote unquote, like rising to the occasion.
Mhm.
Perhaps I don't want to, but you realize, like, oh, no one else is going to do this. And so
Right.
I believe that's really where the switch happens. And then we see kind of evil Michael revealed in that
Yes.
scene with Sonny, where he's like, I'll just kill the guys.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay. So I never say this because I'm not really a rewatcher. That is part
sure.
of my like mainstream mindset.
Yeah,
Nerds are like, I want to deep dive and watch it again and again and keep
yeah.
discovering more, but you are making me want to rewatch. So I am vowing to you and all my listeners that I will rewatch this June 1st next year
There you
because
go.
I
There
want to
you go.
see these things. I want to get a little deeper because
Yeah.
watching it for the first time, you are just trying to keep track of names and who's mad at who and who is behind the hit. And you're not able to dive in to some of the psyche like you're saying.
Yes, yes. It
Yeah.
you really do feel like, "Who was that? How are they related?" Because names
Right.
are thrown out without a face. But
Yeah.
again,
There's the
when you watch,
macaronis and the rigatonis and the
yeah,
pennes, and you just got to keep it all straight.
and when you watch the whole thing and then you watch it again and again, like, you'll see those people, like, at the wedding or you'll
Right.
see different
Right.
ideas introduced. It does make it easier, but it also doesn't help, it also doesn't hurt, rather. Next time you rewatch it, go read the plot summary on Wikipedia. It's
Sure.
actually pretty concise
Okay.
and it does help you. Like, okay, what is the story? Well, the story is that there are 5 mafia families. A guy comes to town who wants to sell drugs. One of the families backs him, one of the families doesn't. The family who backs him says, let's get rid of the family who doesn't.
Right. If you break
Simple
it
as that.
down. Yeah. Yeah.
And then the movie takes place over 10 years. So,
Right.
and they don't explain that to you. They don't
No,
say
that's
5 years later,
no,
2
no,
years
wait.
later.
Oh, Seth, we are right there, but I do
Mhm.
need to take a break for commercials. So we are going to dive in after this. If you're listening to Make Me a Nerd, you are a person who likes movies. That's pretty obvious. Or you're just a huge Mandy Kaplan fan and you just can't get enough. But if you like movies and if you like genre movies and you like my former guests and friends, Chelsea Stardust, Tommy Metz III, Pete Wright, check out Sitting in the Dark. They are doing deep dives into horror films and they come up with a theme and they do 3 films per episode and they know their shit. And it's really cool. And I highly recommend everybody go listen to Sitting in the Dark anywhere you podcast. And whilst I'm taking a break, let me tell everybody about Make Me a Nerd. This is a production of True Story FM, engineering by the peerless Pete Wright. My theme music is Wonderstruck by Jane and the Boy. And please, please, if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, leave 5 stars, write a review, reach out, tell me what you think. I'll shout you out on the air. And you can get me on Instagram at Mandy_Kaplan_Clavens, both with Ks, or on TikTok at Mandy Miscast. Seth, where can they hear your podcast? Tell us about the Movie Friends.
Absolutely. You can find us everywhere that you listen to podcasts. Maybe even
Not
some
like in a
places.
creepy way. You're like
Yeah,
everywhere.
everywhere. And yeah, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter, Movie Friends Podcast. We have a lot of episodes. That's really the big draw. You know, some restaurants will wine and dine you and tell you all about their fancy ingredients and high quality, and then other restaurants just say buffet, all you can eat, $9.99. That's us. You know, we're not smart, we're not very pretty, we're not really funny, but
I,
my God, there
I
is a
have
lot of us.
I have to take up for Michelle. She's a stunner and she's very smart, as are you. And
Yes.
yes, but it's a fun, relatable way into beloved old films, or you also monthly you cover new films, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
I highly recommend the Movie Friends podcast. Now, before all of those shenanigans, you said something that completely sparked for me, and I was obsessed with the way they did Passage of Time in this film.
Mhm.
A lesser film not, would have done a Chiron 2 years later,
Yep.
right? And shown us. This is all context clues. People's hairlines are changing. Their hair color is changing. They've put on some weight. Their face is a little saggier. Like they just women are pregnant in one scene, and then a few scenes later they have a toddler,
Mhm.
and you're just watching a family over 10 years. It doesn't take you out like a film, but I'm so excited by this, right?
It's great.
If
Yeah.
a Chiron means, oh, I'm watching a movie. That's right. Yep, watching a
Yes.
movie.
Yes.
No Chirons means you are in this family. You are at the kitchen table, part of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Brilliant.
And it's wonderful to be trusted by a filmmaker to put it together while also not having it spelled out. You and I have both just said the movie is hard to follow at first. Like genuinely, you're like, what is happening? But if you stick with it, they will show you exactly what's happening. It will kind of all come together. And then on a second watch, you know, it will be better. So sometimes audiences need things really spelled out for them. And Coppola was like, no, we're not going to do that at all.
Thank
And
you.
I think it's a better movie. I think it's a
Grazie.
better movie for it. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? It's thank you, Coppola, for giving us enough credit.
Yep.
Can we dive into, well, first of all, they showed a beautiful horse and I was like, oh no, I know what's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
happen to the beautiful horse. So
Yeah.
when you know, just culturally, when you know references like a horse's head, it's
Yeah.
you know, I knew that was coming, but oh, was that effective?
Yes. Yes. Do you know the story behind that?
No.
Do you want to know?
Is it real? No, that's not real. They didn't
It
really
is. Yeah.
decapitate a horse.
Well, they didn't decapitate a horse, but there's a reason why you don't see the horse before that scene. And that's because they had reached out to a dog food company, who at that point, I think were processing around 200 horses a day. And they said, hey, we need some horse heads. And so they got some. And when they filmed that scene
Oh my
with the
God, I'm gonna
actor, they
cry
used,
and puke.
they used fake horse head They did a few takes with that. And then they did one with the real horse head. Now, this is where we get into how could this possibly be? You've been on film sets. I've been on film sets. Film sets are very slow and boring and drawn out. The idea or legend, which I have no reason to believe or disbelieve, is that they did a take and they put one of the actual horse heads in the bed, causing an actual response from the actor.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God. Okay. Whew. I don't like that.
But Coppola didn't go out back and cut the head off of a horse.
Right.
It was dead already.
Right.
If anything, that horse head was actually utilized much better than his mates who were just turned into dog food.
Oh, yeah. He was a real posthumous star.
Yeah.
That horse. Oh,
most famous horse head in film history, except for perhaps Mr. Ed, but I don't know.
ugh. Okay. Moving right along. I want to talk Marlon Brando.
Of course.
Now, had he done anything before this?
Oh, many things, of course.
Seth,
Oh,
I'm
yes,
kidding.
sure.
I'm fucking with you. Who do you? Oh God, I can't believe you bought that. Yes,
but
I'm the Brando of podcast hosts.
Right. Many people have said that.
Yes, I think so. But he is so magical, and again, not a subtle actor. I have seen many Brando films. He is not. He doesn't hold back, and this performance is so understated and so internal. It's like you're seeing and feeling what he's feeling without him really saying much or doing anything. And when so for some reason, the minute he was with his grandson in the garden, there was something about the lighting and the sound. And by the way, I wasn't talking to myself. I watched it with my husband, who's a big fan of the film. And I was like, uh-oh, he's about to die. The lighting and the sound just felt like his death scene. I don't know why. Yeah. But I'm pretty smart. And I was watching him. It's like Vito Corleone is such a complex character, and he is so loving and loved, and yet a monster and violent and evil. But I could see hanging out with him and loving him, the character. But there's always that, like, that rage or that base instinct towards violence simmering, even when he's laughing with his little grandson in the yard and he's playing with them and they're shooting water at each other and it's adorable. But it's like, I'm still afraid of him.
Yes.
And that's all Brando. That's
as you should be. I said it before. He's the devil. There's a reason that the movie starts out by framing him as a savior. The story that the Undertaker tells is horrific, absolutely horrific. That his poor, innocent young daughter, who did nothing wrong, is savagely attacked, and when the young men are let off, they laugh at the father in the courthouse. That's a movie. That's a movie all by itself, right? And it's told in 3 minutes. Vito is shown as a savior and as a good guy, as a family guy. There's a reason it starts at a wedding. There's a reason because they're trying to, not that they're trying to confuse you, but they're trying to. This movie could have started at the docks. This movie could have started, at a underground poker club where Vito kills some. This movie could have started in a lot of different ways, and it doesn't. It starts with him as a family man while he's conducting business. Children are running into the office. And they're not being chastised, the family's singing to the it's meant to be conflicting, and you're meant to be conflicted all the way up until his death in the garden. And there's something about Vito, who I won't spoil it for people who haven't seen the second one, but now that you've seen the second one, this guy who comes from another country and is something of he's a self-made person. He's kind of growing in like a rough environment, and for him to die among like the garden that he has built in this country, the roots that he has put down, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, like here's the third generation with his, it's very, very poetic and very impactful and so stupid. Like him doing the teeth thing and,
Yeah.
Marlon
Yeah.
Brando running around a little tomato patch with a little kid. It's
Right.
genius. It's
And
genius.
he's already got the stuff in his cheeks to do,
Mhm,
as part of a
mhm.
character choice that he made. And,
Yep.
uh, but I also thought, I actually felt bad for Vito, and I think you're supposed to, that his whole life is transactional. Everyone who comes to him
Oh.
isn't coming just to tell him a joke or give him a hug. Everyone needs something from him or wants something from him. Everyone,
Mhm,
family, colleagues, friends, everything is transactional. And it breaks my heart for
mhm.
him,
Yep,
which I know is strange because, again, monster. But
yep,
you feel how lonely he is throughout the film. I think that's what it is,
yep, yep,
right? Anything for the family. He's surrounded by people all the time, and he is completely alone.
yep. And completely unsafe. At one point in the film, we're told this happens every like 5 to 10 years. Everybody just goes crazy, starts killing each other. And
Hmm.
so, how many waves of this has Vito lived through? And again, watch the second one, folks, if you haven't seen it, because you see from the beginning. I love oh, the second one, the rise. It's the rise of Vito and the fall of Michael happening
Hmm.
concurrently, and where their
Mm.
lives intersect,
Hmm.
and just the descent, like the further descent into hell. Because this
Yeah.
movie is all about the family, the family, the family, the family, and where we leave off with the second one, it's like all bets are off. Actually, we are just evil people.
Right. Well, it's funny. 2.5 hours into the movie, I wrote, "Wait a minute, where's Robert De Niro? What the
Yeah.
hell?" Right? And I quickly learned my dumb mistake.
Yes.
Uh, but I was proud of myself that there are many times in the movie, and because Jared, my husband, had seen it and knows it fairly well. He hasn't seen it in years, but
Yeah.
I wasn't going to spoil anything for him. So I could say, I don't buy that Carlo just beat Connie up. It's a setup. Something's going on there. And
Hmm.
he was like, I don't know. And then I was like, I was ahead of it. I got it. And
Yes.
so I
Yes.
did predict a lot of the plot points that
Yes.
were, uh, you know, major through lines. One thing I didn't predict was when Pacino's in Italy and the car blows up.
Yes.
And I
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, well, she was a nag.
Oh
That's
no,
what you
poor
get.
Apollonia. Come
She's
on.
naggy,
That's
right?
that's like my least
Monday,
favorite
Tuesday,
part.
Wednesday. Oh,
Right.
shut up. Blow up.
That's my least favorite part of the film. The whole Sicily part. It just goes on a little too long.
Agreed.
Again, we do get to see Michael like just in control, and how powerful and influential he is. But it's like, it, and not to say that it doesn't go anywhere, but it literally abruptly blows up, and then we just go back to our main story. So every time I watch it, I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
tighten it up. But
You want to fast
leading
forward
into
a little bit through
right,
Italy. Through
but
yeah.
leading into Sicily gives us the best dissolve of all time, where we go from Vito's mustache to the tree. And
Oh.
I don't know if you know anything about how dissolves used to be done, but it was very complicated.
Mm-hmm.
And literally negatives had to be like developed together. So you'd send stuff out to, the lab.
Mm-hmm.
They would send it back, and then you would view it and be like, oh, it's not really lined up right.
Right.
Or like, oh, it should have gone a little fat. We should have run the machine,
Is
because
it
there was a special machine.
is it almost like a double exposure? Or
Yeah.
like
So you
because
run
that happened
both.
on Golden Girls, so I'm quite familiar with that
There you
concept.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you run both through at the same time, and they print over each other. But depending on how you do it, it's either like a very fast dissolve or a long dissolve. And this one, it's famous, like that, going from Vito, in the bed, and then his mustache just becomes a tree, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not like close. They are perfectly lined up. And so to
Yeah.
film Marlon Brando in one country and then go film a random hillside in another and line them up that way is I'm not a technical person, I don't love like Avatar. I'm not impressed by like special effects and things. I
Hmm.
want a story, but this is like one of the most impressive technical achievements in the movie, and it
Yeah,
rightfully so. It's awesome.
very cool. I didn't notice that. What a shock. With with my attention to detail, how I somehow missed that.
Just just Google Vito Corleone mustache tree, and you'll see it. There's gifs of it all over.
Maybe I'll make that my Halloween costume next year
There you go. You
somehow.
could. Yeah.
They do one of these meeting of all the mob bosses, and
Mhm.
they go around the table and introduce. He's here from New Jersey. He's here from California. He's here, right, and they introduce each Don.
Mhm.
And I I thought that is such an iconic thing that I've seen in every mob movie, and by every mob movie, I mean Analyze This, the only other mob movie I know. I mean, intense storytelling, pretty
Yeah.
similar.
You're not a
Um,
fan of Mickey Blue Eyes?
what's that?
Oh, Hugh Grant. And
Oh,
James Caan actually from this movie. But yeah,
oh,
Hugh Grant falls in love with someone who's involved with the mafia. Mickey Blue Eyes, great fish out of water mob story, romantic comedy.
huh.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I don't know that. You're saying a lot of the words I love. Hugh Grant, romantic comedy, fish out of
Fish.
water,
Yeah.
fish. Yeah. um, I watched the second one based on my theory that perhaps it was going to focus more on the women in the family. And it doesn't,
Hmm.
but it did allow me to experience Lee Strasberg as Hyman Roth.
Oh,
And
perfect.
I've learned in my nerd journey not to
Yeah.
IMDb things whilst watching them
Oh
because
yeah.
you can get a lot of spoilers and wait, why
Yeah.
isn't he in the next episode? And then
Yeah.
that character's going to die.
Yeah.
So I did it at the very end of the movie because the cake scene in Cuba where he's
Hmm.
giving out his birthday cake and
Yep.
making a very long speech.
Yep.
I was like, this is one of the best actors I've ever seen. How do I not know this guy?
Yeah.
Right? And I couldn't wrap my brain around how naturalistic and real this actor was. And then to find out it's Lee Strasberg, for
Hmm.
anyone who doesn't know, he's one of the foremost acting teachers in American history. He
Yep.
developed methods. He is behind Brando and many of the people we love. And is that not accurate?
Oh
Your
yeah.
eyes are
No,
already
yeah.
up. Oh no, Brando was
No,
from his
sorry.
studio.
I'm literally on his letterbox just looking at his other roles. But yes.
Okay. So it was like I couldn't believe I was watching Lee Strasberg. I actually have never seen him in anything, or if I had, I didn't know. I only know him as the Strasberg method
Hmm.
in New York City. He's the best acting teacher on the planet. Well, now I know why. This
Yep.
performance as Hyman Roth was mesmerizing.
Yes. And another guy who's like an older guy, and you said like the cake scene is incredible.
Mm,
That you're kind of like, I kind of like this guy, and then in the end, you're like, oh, he's also the devil.
the source of all evil.
they're,
Yeah.
they're actually all really evil. It turns out, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
And
I
that
mean,
that naturalism from two, but also one. I mean, Robert Duvall as Tom Hagen is perfection. Maybe my favorite character in both movies.
shocking though, because I was saying to Jer, I think of Duvall as like a scene eater. He's a
Mhm. Oh,
big
Pacino,
personality.
Brett, all of them, all
They're
of them.
all it's
James
like
Caan. I mean, Caan does get to do but that's his role in this. He is the
right,
explosive one, but they're all so just under, like right
naturalistic.
under where you would maybe think I need to fill up the screen. They don't have to fill up anything.
And they've
They
all been
they can be as reserved and calm because they have all the power, and it's yeah, it's great, and it would go on to influence the performances where naturalism becomes the standard now for acting,
right,
and anything beyond naturalism.
particularly in the 70s. That I mean, it was a
Yeah, for 70, and Nick Cage talks a lot about kicking against that. Nick Cage, obviously nephew of Francis Ford Coppola, and you know he has a fascinating take on naturalism versus other styles and how one isn't better than the other. And I fully agree with him. But for general audiences, these guys like set the tone for what real acting is for a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah. And there's two scenes that I would point to say, well, this is why it's a cinematic masterpiece. And I'm sure the debate could go on and on about, no, it's these two scenes. But
Hmm.
when Vito dies, but his little grandson is giggling, and it's,
Hmm.
oh, there's like sunshine and they're in a beautiful garden and there's giggling. It chills me. And then the baptism massacre, which we
Yes.
don't have time to go into, but the way it's intercut with the most joyful thing and Michael being so loving and holding this baby and vowing to protect this being whilst
Hmm.
ordering mass destruction and death
Yes.
outside of the church. I mean, I don't know. You tell me, had we seen things like that in cinema before? They, those are the standards for like, that's why this is a masterpiece, not just a good movie.
Right. Right. Right.
And they've
Yeah.
been so oft imitated.
Yeah.
Now it's
Absolutely.
standard to see a wedding with bloodshed in another
Right.
place. Like that's
Right.
standard now.
It's the it's again it's like you said, it's pulling back the curtain. It is the devil in plain clothes, and how this particular brand of evil infiltrates every area of life and has no respect for any area of life, including the church, where Michael is literally asked, do you renounce Satan? He's like, I
I
do.
do.
Meanwhile, he's having people murdered left and right.
Yeah.
And the psychopath of Michael is kind of revealed here. And I think fully crystallized, like I said, in that moment, because Michael is doing everything he feels he needs to do in order to protect his family, not because he wants to. And when Kay pushes him, she is the last connection that he has to his humanity. And if he
Hmm.
admits to her what he is now, that's gone. He
Right.
he has no place to hide. But as long as Kay is in the dark, he can be his quote unquote real self with her. And
Hmm.
so it's the only time in the movie he slams his hand on the desk and like loses it for half a second. And then the great line, just this one time you can ask me my business. She asks him again. He says, no, it's not true. She says, oh,
Right.
thank God.
Right.
And I don't think that, I, I do think that Kay is being a little naive here, though she obviously realizes in that final shot. But I think it's a good picture for us. Like you said, you've backed out of relationships, but we all know people who are in situations or in relationships that they should not be in. And again, we
Right.
stop and we say, how,
Right. Right.
how? And the Godfather shows us how through Kay. Why do bad things happen to good people? The Godfather shows us that. How can one person go from a war hero to this? The Godfather shows us that. And that's why the movie will endure, because as long as we are honest with ourselves, the Godfather taps into something that is ancient, modern, and universal. We just have to be honest and see ourselves in the reflection of the art. And that's why it's one of the greatest of all time. Not the greatest, but very great.
Well, thank you. Thank you
Hey, thank you.
for nerducating me and nerding out with me. I mean, you are very knowledgeable, but you're also very passionate and just want to rave about uh, this film. And it is a remarkable feat of filmmaking.
Yeah,
It does not
absolutely.
disappoint, even all these years later, even though I've seen it imitated and parodied, and it
Mhm,
just doesn't take away from its exquisite artistry.
mhm.
I do need to point out before I end the podcast that from the angle you are sitting at, and people can't see you, so everybody look at the clip of us on Instagram. Seth has a very close shaved head,
I do. Yep.
and it looks like Roy Scheider is a mohawk behind you. Can you see it? So he has a
I can,
poster of
yeah.
Roy Scheider. I'm assuming that's Roy Scheider.
Roy
Yeah,
Scheider from All
all
That
that
Jazz.
jazz.
Yeah, yeah.
And the way you're sitting, I keep going, is it a black mohawk like down the middle? So I just
Mhm.
needed to point that out.
Very
And
good,
that
very
now
good.
everyone has to
Yes,
go check out the visual on
Roy
Instagram.
Scheider and next to him,
Matt Dillon, The
Matt Dillon
Outsiders.
from The Outsiders. Yep.
Yeah.
The two great male performances in American cinema.
I'm not. I wouldn't go that far about Matt Dillon, but Roy Scheider and all that jazz is pretty spectacular. All right, my movie friend. Everybody, go listen to the Movie Friends podcast, and everybody, stay tuned next week for more of my nerducation. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Seth.
Hey, thank you, Mandy. Thank you for having me back.